Well, hello everyone. Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. I've talked about it a little bit before in another video, but I wanted to kind of go a little more in depth on this particular topic, and that is when saving money doesn't save. So you think you're saving money, but you're not really saving money. The most common thing, especially today, is buying cheap garbage because we don't, we want to save money, and buying cheap garbage can, in the long run, end up costing you more because you're constantly having to replace that product. So there's certain areas where this, and for each person, it's going to be a little bit different. What you're going to prioritize is this. If it's something that I'm going to rarely use, or I'm not worried about wearing out, I don't mind it being cheap. Like some t-shirts, I pay a little bit because I don't like fake fabrics. I want 100% cotton, which is getting harder and harder to find. But I don't mind them not being super expensive, because if it's shirts for working around the house, well, I'm going to get them stained anyway, or caught on something and tore, just like Patrick. And I can repair that. I can cover up the stains or eventually turn it into t-shirt rags. The important thing to me is that it's 100% cotton, but I don't mind going a little cheaper in cost. I didn't write any other specifics down, but yeah, things that are only going to get used occasionally, but is good to have on hand. So I'm not worried about it wearing out. I don't mind paying less for, but when it comes to shoes, not everybody has the size feet that can just run down to a secondhand store, which we do have a thrift shop, one, but finding shoes to fit my little feet that are not kids' shoes is incredibly difficult. And I will buy kids' shoes a lot of times, but this is the one thing I've learned. And though I'm currently wearing kids' shoes, and I tend to forget about this, is if you have little feet and you buy kids' sizes, even if it's a quality brand shoe, one of the reasons you're paying less for it isn't just because it's a smaller shoe. It's because typically a lot of brands will not put as much into making them last longer, because they're for a kid. They're going to outgrow them. So I bought, years ago, I found a pair of, I forget, Romeos. I don't know if you guys know what Romeos are. In a kid's size that looked practically brand new. I was like, oh, these actually fit me, because I think they were a size 3. I'm like, these fit me. I was so excited. And kids, they don't usually wear their things out before they grow out of them. So I bought these things. I was wearing them. I was just so excited. Patrick and I went for a hike. By the time we got back, and we weren't gone that long, the soles were coming off of these shoes. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought these were supposed to be really high quality shoes. I was really bummed. I think I used shoe goo and glued them back together, and they lasted okay for a little while, but eventually they started falling apart. And I was talking to the shoe lady down at our one big store, and she said, and I told her how disappointed I was. And she goes, well, it's because they were kids' shoes, and kids' shoes aren't made to last the way adult shoes are. So that's one of the issues I have. And this is why, for me, when I found those Merry People boots and they actually fit me, though they could still be just a tad bit smaller, they're good enough. I want something that's going to last, and I am going to have to pay a little bit more, because for me to thrift for shoes and find the right size and the right style, it's near impossible, especially in our small area. We don't have a Goodwill. We just have this one little thrift shop for our little bitty, very remote town. So for me, it's going to be more cost effective for me to go ahead and buy some quality boots that are going to last me a long time. And honestly, as much as I love my Kizik's, the ones I wear around the house, I'm on my second pair for my around the house shoes. And because my other pair just totally wore them out, but I wear them all the time. I'm hard on them. And I'm on my second pair and they're starting to wear, but I still love them because I can slip in and out of them easy. But the adult size pair I have that are too big and kind of sloppy on my feet, but they're the boots that I use for mucking about in the backyard and around the chickens and through all that mess and the mud. I love those things for that because I keep them outside. I can slip my feet into them totally hands-free. And those are definitely, they get well used as well. And same thing with the adult size leather sneakers I have by the front door. Again, a little too big for me, but for what I'm doing, I don't mind having that little bit of extra space. I'd prefer if they fit better, but the adult size ones are definitely lasting longer than the kid size ones. I mean, yes, you pay less for the kids' shoes, but it's just like anything else. When it comes to shoes, if you're paying less, your quality is typically going to be less. And I can tell the difference in the quality of the adult size ones and the kid size ones. And to top it off, the Kizik's, their prices are just skyrocketing. And they're now, to get something similar to the Merry People boots that I got, they're far more expensive. Because somebody was looking at saying, I can't afford those boots. I have to look at something a lot cheaper. And it's like, I understand that. I really, really do. But for me, that was cheap compared to what I was seeing in the Kizik's. The bad thing is that I can't just slip my feet into those Merry People boots. They're the Bobby boot. I love them. I can slip them off hands-free, but I can't just slip my feet into them. So I'm glad I do have those other Kizik's. I have a backup pair because I bought a second pair. And I'm glad I did that because now they're way more money. And then the Merry People boots I got for, even though I could use those for the gardening and stuff, I use those. Those are more for going out and doing anything else where I'm going to be out there getting wet and having to stomp through puddles and mud because they're a multi-purpose boots. To me, they look cute with my skirts. They keep my feet dry. They've got a good rugged sole. I could use them for hiking. I can use them for whatever. So the point is quality over cheap. This is where saving money can end up costing you more and you're not saving anything. But again, it's good. You got to look at, okay, what item is this going to matter? You know, when you're buying automotive parts, when you're buying vehicles, when you're buying kitchen appliances, you don't want to have to replace that refrigerator or that washing machine in a year. You want something that's built like a tank. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I got the Country Living grain mill back when it was half the cost it is now, is that thing's built like a tank. It's built in the United States. It's built in my own state. And I know it's going to last me a lifetime. I think the only thing I can see ever wearing out on it is the belt. And that's the belt that's hooked up to the motor. Well, I can always turn it by hand if I had to, but I'm sure Patrick can find another belt. And but the mill itself should last me forever. There's no plastic parts on it. I'm not going to tell people you must run out and buy that, even though I can give you my Amazon affiliate link. It is so expensive. So find what you can afford and what works is important, but do your reviews on that. And I mean, I haven't heard much about it lately, but I used to hear a lot about the Wonder Mill. Assuming it's still a good mill. I saw something, I didn't watch it because it doesn't apply to me since I have a mill that I'm happy with. But I saw a video by someone I've never heard of because I swear every day there's new homesteading channels I've never heard of popping up. They did a review. It's like, I don't know if they had all of these different grain mills, but comparing a lot of these different grain mills that were more affordable. Oh, flashlights. I've decided flashlights was another place where it matters because I was thinking, oh, wow, $10, 10 flashlights. Cool. In a month, half the flashlights don't work. So how much money am I saving doing that? It's a lot better that those little $20, I love those little ones I did a review on, the Olight brand. We love those things. Oh, and here's something. right after I decided to do this topic and was taking notes, that very day, Patrick, I bought one for him. He loves it. He uses it all the time. Well, I threw his work pants in the wash. I kept hearing something scraping on what's in there. So I stopped the wash machine, get in there. I'm like, I sure hope it's not his flashlight. And I'm digging down there and I find a set of keys. Okay, it must have been the keys. No big deal. But then I hear more scrapey. I'm like, I already dug around down there. I didn't find anything else. It's probably just the buttons on his work pants because he wears the suspenders, so he's got the suspender buttons on there. And then I had a couple of hoodies in there that had zippers on them. So that's probably all it is. Guess what? It was the flashlight. But guess what? It went through that whole wash and it was a long wash. I do everything on the longest wash. That thing still works. A $20 little mini flashlight, far better than paying $1 a piece for flashlights that aren't going to last. And so very, very, very happy with that. Even more so now. 2 more points on this. On the when saving money doesn't save. Buying unnecessary things because they are on sale or they have a coupon or they're items that you've thrifted. So again, I know I've talked about this before, but you see the sale rack. Oh, what's on sale? This shirt is only $5. Guess what? You might end up only wearing that shirt a couple of times. And this can apply to anything. I'm using clothes because I know back in my 20s and 30s, that was me. I wasn't a complete clothes hound kind of person where I had to have all the in-style stuff, but I did like cute things. And I also liked saving money. And so, this little $5 cute little hoodie or t-shirt, I mean, it's only $5. I can afford this. And I'm saving money because it's only $5. No, you're not. You just spent $5. That's not saving money. That's called spending money. And sometimes we have to change how we look at things. And, thrifting is another thing I love. I haven't been able to go garage sailing in forever, but a lot of times you're looking for stuff that's going to help, and we found some great items, cast iron, things that I use all the time. And so much more. I've done videos of this on the past. I have videos on some of my favorite secondhand finds, but I've also bought stuff that ends up just taking up space and needing to be dusted. Some of it is because it's cute, like those little chicken canisters that are good for absolutely nothing but looking cute. Little hand-painted chicken things, jars. They're so cute. I'm still glad I have them, but that's the kind of thing. It's like sometimes I don't remember what I paid for them. It wasn't much. And they're cute. I'm still glad I have them, but there's things like that I have bought that I'm like, why did I get this? Just because it was only 50 cents at a garage sale, that's not saving money. It might only be 50 cents, but I still spent 50 cents. So there's that. So, yeah. And then the third point is, okay, again, let me remind you the topic, when saving money doesn't save. Making it yourself. I love doing a lot of things and making a lot of things for myself, and so does Patrick. And it can save a lot of money. But what I'm finding more and more, especially when it comes to making clothes, like for making my skirts and making certain other things, end up spending more money to make it myself. Some things I'll still do that because I can customize it to suit me. But when it comes to making a flannel or a t-shirt, because I was like, I should get into making my own t-shirts. You start looking at 100% cotton knit fabric for making your own t-shirts, you're realizing it's either going to cost you as much to make it yourself or more. Okay, I'm just going to buy it, because even if the cost is the same, if I can buy it and not have to make it, now I'm saving that time that I can do something else or build something else. Here's another example. Patrick has been so much more busy lately. So many things to repair and fix. and build. That I get to where it used to be, I'd say, hey, would you mind making me this? Like he's made me sock darners, and that kind of got into people wanting to buy his sock darners and things like that. And I love these things. I don't do that very much anymore. And I've always just taken my chicken's eggs and I stick them in baskets. I have 2 baskets. When the first basket gets a dozen in it, I set it aside, start filling up the second basket. Once it gets a dozen in it, that's when I have 2 dozen. That's when I wash them. My problem is I want to put them right in the cartons and have them ready to sell. And didn't think about this at first, but I want to get them out of the sink because I don't want to forget about them. Because I'll forget about them in the sink, and then people go in there and wash their hands, and then they're getting wet again, soap on them and dirt and whatever. So I'm like, okay, I started putting them right in the cartons. But what do you think happens when you put a wet egg in an egg carton? The egg sticks inside the carton. And then you could end up breaking the egg if you're not careful trying to get it out. And I'm like, I can't keep doing it this way. But I know if I walk off to let these eggs sit here and dry in the sink, I'm going to forget about them. So I'm like, I need to find some just little racks for holding eggs. Could I have asked Patrick to build it? Yes, absolutely. However, time is also money, and he is busy. And I found that I could get 3 cute little wooden, I still had to put them together myself, egg holders, 3 dozen, so it'd hold a total of 3 dozen eggs, so that I can set those, and they're really cute. And I could set the eggs in there after I wash them so they can dry in there, and then I can go put them in the cartons. And I think I paid like $25 for the set of 3. Now, could Patrick have possibly made it for less as far as the actual financial cost? Maybe, if he has, the right wood. I know he could make them. I know he could build these. They are definitely within his wheelhouse of skills, for certain. If he could make all this other stuff I've got around here, certainly, I know he could. However, his time is worth something too. And it's like I told him that. I'd already bought them. And I said, yeah, I think I paid $25 for those. And he's like, yeah, how many hours would I have been in the shop when I could have been doing something else? So for his time, the amount of time that would have gone in there would have been, probably $100, $200 worth of time. If you were thinking an hourly rate, that, he could be possibly getting paid doing a job for someone, or just getting something else done that would save us even more money. So that's what I'm talking about. And so sometimes you got to look at some of these different things. Are some of the frugal hacks that you do actually costing you more money? And some of those frugal hacks might actually be worth it to cost, or frugal, quote unquote. What I mean is the make it yourself things, even if it does cost more, like making your own bread or making whatever, you're making something healthier. So sometimes it is worth it, even if it does cost more, because if it's, you got to look at anything that's going to cost you more to get better care of yourself, wearing natural fabrics, eating healthier foods is saving you money in medical care. That's how I look at that, in the long run, getting the organic, non-GMO stuff. I don't mind paying a little bit more because I look at the fact that we're not on any medications, and we went off of the thyroid medications that we were both on 14 years ago. And I think even though thyroid medication is pretty inexpensive compared to a lot of other medications people are on, and there's new ones coming out every day, still that adds up. How much money in the past 14 years have we saved on not only the medications, but the constantly having to have, well, not constantly, but every so often they're wanting, we got to do a blood test to make sure you're still getting the right amount, and then that they charge you an arm and a leg for a blood test. So yeah, I think it's really paid off, and finding ways to just live healthier so we don't need the medication. and finding the different herbs and cutting, getting rid of the fluoride and yeah, it's worth it all. So there's a give and take no matter how you look at it. You just got to decide, okay, where's the best place for me to cut, and where are the places that it'd be better for me to spend a little bit more for the quality. Farming can make you a small fortune. All you need is a small farm and a large fortune. Exactly. Yeah, remember I was saying last week about the chickens? Then that's just chickens. You can put a lot of money and time into getting your infrastructure in place just for chickens to make sure they're safe and blah, 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 blah. So how much are those eggs really costing me? I don't know. But that's one of those things that it's worth it to me, especially when there were no eggs at the store or the cost of eggs had doubled, quadrupled. I have eggs. It still costs me money to have those eggs. I have those chickens, but it's worth it in so many ways because the chickens give back in other ways too. They till up my gardens. In the off season, they help get rid of the slugs. They provide a lot of joy and enjoyment. And of course, they give the eggs and the fertilizer. I knew there was one more really important thing I was forgetting. Fertilizer for free. Yes, that's it. So I hope you guys all have a great week. Take care and God bless.